Hello, hello, hello. FIFA Club World Cup podcast, episode 7, match day 6, coming at you. Running through these ones, Cooligan, as always. Now we're really getting into the rhythm and routine of these daily episodes and these daily shows.
I'm running out of fingers, though, Gary. I'm telling you, I'm running out of fingers.
We'll have to start. Yeah,
I don't know what's going to happen once we get past 10.
Once we get past,
it's not going to be a family-friendly podcast anymore, and I don't want to go any further.
Well, we'll hit 11, and then we'll be done. Then we'll be in real trouble, right?
Yeah, we'll be in real trouble.
And of course, we have another special guest with us as well as part of the Hooligans Soccer Podcast Network. We have Michael Gonclaves from Michael. I'm going to let you say it because it would just be an insult, and I'm just going to butcher it. So please just share the name of your show that you have.
Yeah, o Cantinho Benfiquista. Benfica podcast.
Dan,
in Portuguese.
No way, Gary. You and I could have done justice to that.
It's
brilliant.
I can speak two Latin languages, but not Portuguese, and I'm definitely not going to give that one a crack as well. So yes. Anyway, so Michael, welcome. You obviously have you are the resident Benfica fan as well. So obviously welcome, and it's good to have you on here. I know we were both at the Benfica Boca game. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to cross paths. And Cooligan, I think you might be going to the Benfica, the other Benfica game as well. We'll see, depending on tickets coming through.
The Benfica
so you guys
versus Bayern, which will be will be the rubber match,
day 3,
and could actually be
the decider,
a critical match in deciding who goes first or second.
It could very well.
Who advances. We don't know, because that will be the third match of the group, and they haven't played their second yet. So
exactly,
lots of mystery.
Exactly. So we're going to cover, obviously we're coming in, it's now just the second half of that PSG Botafogo game has just kicked off as well at the time of this recording as well. Botafogo.
That's a juicy match.
Snatched a counter-attack through, Igor Jesus as well. Yeah, with the sly counter-attack.
Who called him?
Manuel said he's going to Nottingham Forest, right? Yeah, days ago. It's been, I know it feels like weeks ago. It was 2 days ago, yes. But he feels like, he was on 2 days ago. That's right. Yeah, it's been like that. I know it's been a whirlwind. It's real time warp. He does look good. Although I was looking at his stats, he's 24 years old and he's only scored 6 goals in like 20 appearances or something like that this season as well. So he's not the prolific goal scorer that Nottingham Forest would like to be getting if he does go to Nottingham Forest. But anyway, he got the goal, and well played, in Botafogo are up against PSG. So, gentlemen, we are going to be covering off today. We're going to be looking back at today's matches, and then also as well, we will be looking at some of the games that will be going in tomorrow. And then, Cooligan, you and I are actually taking a little bit of a day and a half hiatus. We will not be recording tomorrow because we will be at games and or traveling across different time zones. And then we will be back recording again on Sunday morning as well to play catch up as well. So we'll do a little bit of a look through as well. So let's get into it. So the first game this morning that we had was Palmeiras against Ahly, and they're wonderful fans as well. That looked really intense. Michael, I'm going to let you go first. Did you get a chance to catch this game, and if so, all the highlights, and if so, what were your thoughts on this game?
I'm not surprised by the result. I'm a big fan of Palmeiras. They have a Portuguese coach, Abel Ferreira, who's done a good job since he's arrived in Brazil. Very intense team on and off the ball. It's funny to see some of the dynamics that they have. It's not common, the dynamics that they have when you compare them to other South American teams, and I think that's a little bit of a touch from a European coach. The result, again, doesn't surprise me. I think Palmeiras had a variety of opportunities. Estevão had one that he just missed. I don't know how he didn't even put it on target. The Al-Ali keeper had a couple of saves, but all in all, I don't think the result surprised anyone. I think Al-Ali is probably, I would say, the weakest team in the group, despite I don't watch Egyptian football. But I would say, looking at the group and as a whole, I would say that this result shouldn't surprise anyone.
Yeah. No, I think that's pretty fair. I agree. I was looking at Estevão again. Won the player of the match, or the man of the match, or the superior. I believe Michelob sponsored it, called the superior player of the match. It's now called. He's
and
looks
by the way,
dynamic. He looks mobile.
That's twice now, because he also won that.
Yeah, he won both of them
for the first match that he's in, and
and
he's a Chelsea guy.
He still hasn't scored a goal.
He still hasn't scored a goal. He gets into lots of position. Gets into lots of positions, but just kind of pulls it. I don't think he's ready to go and play for Chelsea next season. He's too light, too small, too young, too inexperienced. He probably needs to go out on loan, probably somewhere in Europe as well. But he's definitely he's only 17, just turning 18. You can see he's light. He's going to get absolutely crushed by those Premier League defenders. If he does.
And he's absolutely fearless though. His his approach, he just wants to go one-on-one with everyone. He's got pace, but like you said, he's very light.
Yeah, he's just a little bit too green and just a little bit too young. So but otherwise he does look like a tremendous player. He really does look tremendous. Okay, Cooligan, and then obviously, did you catch this one, or you were traveling? Or,
I did, and I have to say, Ahly is. They're one of those teams that they should have beaten Inter, and they didn't. They lacked that clinical edge right up there in the attacking third. Mm-hmm. And in this game, they didn't have, I think, as many chances. And unfortunately, that own goal, I think, was the initial cut. That was the first one that kind of set them reeling. And then the second goal, that was Mauricio. That was, Mauricio made the pass.
Yeah, it was
puts
Lopez.
In that perfect pass, and then it was Lopez. What nice a great, what a great finish that was.
I would say, just sorry to cut you off. I would say the best part in that play for me is you can tell he doesn't have pace, and how he comes across the defender to take him out of the play. I thought was incredible, like the know-how and the IQ to be able to say, okay, I'm not going to beat you in a foot race. I'm just going to cut across you. You're either going to take me out and get a red card, or I'm going to go one-on-one. And I thought that was the best part of the play.
No, you're so right. You're so right. His touch put the ball, and he positions himself in that expert spot. Lovely. Yeah. And then finishes so clean, so effortless, without any real, drama or effort. It was lovely. And that was the dagger. As soon as I saw that one go in, and then of course, 30 seconds later, the horns blow. Weather delay. Ahly is done. They're done. They're cooked because Ahly's not going to be able to take a 35, 40-minute respite and then be able to come back,
turn around,
and gain anything out of that. And they didn't. They were game. They tried. They just couldn't pull it off. And fair play to the Ahly fans. All Ahly fans are vibrant,
definitely,
and dedicated, and I think that's great.
And showed up in numbers. I agree. Yeah. And so, so just looking at the table as well. So that leaves Ahly and Porto, obviously sort of at the bottom two with 1 point each. Obviously, we'll talk about Inter and Porto in a second, but then Ahly have to play Porto, and you'd think that Porto would probably sort of get the edge over Ahly. So I think it's probably cut through Ahly.
I wouldn't
as well.
count on it too much.
I just think they have a real problem scoring.
I don't think that what you're saying, Gary, is going over very well with Michael.
No, I mean, being
very strong.
The Benfica fan against Porto, of course.
And it has nothing to do with liking or disliking Porto, but being very aware of Portuguese football and Porto's current state. Even if you ask any Porto fan, this is arguably one of the worst Porto teams, arguably in my lifetime. I'm 38. This team has no fire. This team has no energy. This is not the Porto that I grew up and most fans grew up watching. So I wouldn't count that as a guarantee just yet.
Okay. Well, I think Ahly have got to figure out their striking situation and put the ball in the back of the net, because that's still yet to happen in 2 games now. They seem to be good moving forward, but just kind of crumble at the final third for sure.
They rely on Abu Ali, and unfortunately, Abu Ali put the ball in his own net. he got himself a little confused there. I mean, let's give him a credit. It was 47th minute or 48th minute. I mean, he still didn't know what side he was playing on.
Yeah. Let's not forget, Porto scored only 1 goal, and it was a penalty today, and a very dubious penalty at that.
That's
Michael,
true.
Thank you so much for bringing that up, because you're right. It was a dubious penalty. Yeah,
it was questionable, right? It really was, wasn't it? It was definitely sort of definitely tricky. And then Miami kind of grounded out. I think I know I've been saying this is...
Let's have a proper transition. We're going to pause with the fingers.
I think we've done the
transition. Now we're going to move on to Inter Miami versus Porto and talk about said, controversial penalty in the 8th minute.
Controversial penalty, yes, I know.
It's your con again.
I think you've commandeered this, hijacked this show and this dynamic. I thought we did the transition with Michael saying as well about how Porto only scored 1 goal, and that was a wonderful transition to lead in on. But let's go from here. So
fair
transition.
Point.
Miami, Porto, yes. So 2-1. Porto got a dubious penalty as we saw, and then Miami. Messi doing Messi things as well, right? It just seems like he's dragging them, carrying that team over the line and I think I've been saying this, that I don't think Miami are going to be able to go deep in this competition just purely because of the age and then the sort of level of tournament football in these games now are going to be getting more intense every 3 to 4 days, and the legs and the ages are it's going to catch up with them. Suarez again looked way off the pace. He looked non-existent as well. It's got to the point where it's not just form. I think it's a permanent thing. The game has left his legs, unfortunately, and he was an absolutely phenomenal striker in his prime, and it is a shame to say that. But yeah, any other thoughts on this Miami Porto game as well? And it was incidentally the first ever time an MLS team has beaten a European team in a competitive match.
There you go.
Good research.
You go first.
I don't have much to say. I missed most of this because I was traveling, and so I hate to say it, but I never even saw the Messi free kick. Everybody in the news is reporting that it was a piece of art. What do you think? Yeah. Was it that good?
Side netting.
Classic Messi. Yeah. Classic Messi. Yeah.
Okay.
Right on the edge. He was on the edge of the D. Left foot across the goal. Keeper was even standing closer to that side and beat him as well. But classic Messi.
All right. Well,
again, Messi does it again. Yeah, it really was. But yeah. So
again, I think, but I do have to say that despite their loss, Porto's, I still like Samu a lot. I think that he was the one who converted the penalty. I was keen on him before the.
He almost missed. The keeper almost got it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And then what's the other one? It was Moro. Is it Moro?
Rodrigo Moro.
Yeah, I do like him. Yeah.
Yes, Mora. Thank you so much. He looks he's a tricky really player. Fine piece of skill that I think will move on at some point. I don't know if it'll be this year, but I think folks are going to wake up and say, well, where's he been all our lives? We might want to develop him a little more.
18 years old, yeah. No, he's definitely put himself on the radar in the 2 games that we've seen him. He's really impressed me. Just looks mobile, nimble, good feet as well, good sort of technical.
He's also another soft player. He's very small in stature.
Young,
still needs a little bit of muscle behind him.
Yeah, I don't think he'll go to the Premier League as well, but I think definitely sort of going up into the Spanish leagues or sort of, Italian maybe, but it's one
less
of those
physical leagues.
He'll do that as well, and where they're more technical and they appreciate those kind of things and their style of games work as well. So just looking at then the group table.
I'm going to go out on a limb. PSV.
Yeah. PSV.
PSG is already after.
Yeah.
There's rumors
they love that type of player.
They're after him.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
PSG or PSV?
PSG.
PSV. V, not J.
You're okay. No. Okay. Michael's saying Paris Saint-Germain and you're saying
Paris Saint-Germain is already interested in him.
Oh, well, they're saying. Okay. I'm saying.
PSV,
Eindhoven, PSV, Eindhoven.
I feel like that would be a bad move for him to leave Porto to go to the Dutch league.
Yeah. Dutch league, yeah.
I'm just saying that when you talk about a slight player who has technical skills, who doesn't have to play in too much physicality, the Dutch league immediately pops into mind, and I'm going, it's a nice little fit. For a year, let him pad his stats, get a couple of nice goals going. He can, develop a little narrative.
The question is does PSV have the money for him? The Porto, I think his release clause, he just signed a new contract. I think his release clause is like 80 or 100 million.
No, they don't have that type of money. So anyway,
exactly. They just signed his contract.
Yeah.
Nope. They don't have that type of money. Because they are, after all, Dutch. So moving, they don't have that. They don't have that type of cash. Right. Anyway, it was a nice dream.
just quickly, like looking at PSG's front three and then knowing that they still have like Barcola sitting there, it's like if you go there, you're just going to sit on the bench as well. So he's probably good where he is right now for another season or two, and then jump up and then go from there and see what comes available. But yeah. So gentlemen, with Group A now coming to obviously the round, that leaves obviously we've got Palmeiras, we've got Inter in the top two, both on 4 points, Porto and Al Ahly. And so we have Palmeiras and Inter to play each other, and then Porto and Al Ahly to obviously play each other. Just sort of quickly, who do we think gets sort of through this group? Do you think it's Palmeiras and Inter stay as it is, or do you think sort of Porto struggle against Al Ahly and Porto and Palmeiras, Miami and Palmeiras can grind out a draw and squeak through with 5 points and qualify that way?
I think the standings stay exactly how they are now. I think Porto struggles against Al Ahly, and Palmeiras and Inter Miami, they don't really have to go for it. I think a draw is good enough for them.
Yeah.
So why overexert yourselves, and let's play through. We both go through, happy, shake hands, move on.
Yeah, I mean, there is the small
gentleman's tie. I like
there
it.
Is there is the $3 million. There is the additional $2 million if you go for the win as well, which might be sort of a little bit more enticing. But there is
maybe
it's rather.
But both clubs, $2 million.
Yeah,
is, I mean, it matters, but it's not that critical. So
yeah.
No.
Okay, so that's.
I agree. By the way, I agree with Michael. I think Palmeiras takes the top spot.
Okay.
I actually think that Palmeiras will beat Inter.
Possible.
In their game.
Okay.
I think they will have a moment. But I think I hate that Messi factor is so frustrating because you just don't know.
Yeah.
When he's going to show up with that magic left foot and do something incredible.
He does, yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, Gary, you are so representing Miami right now in your coloration.
I am perfect. Location and coloration as well. Absolutely, yes. It was
fair point.
It was
well coordinated. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Thank you, Cooligan. Okay, so that brings Group A to sort of wrap up, and then obviously we had the other games on Group B, I believe it was. So we had the third game of today. We had Sounders against Atletico. I had this one in the background while I was doing some work, and it just felt like just Atletico were just too dominant here and just a completely different level. Is that kind of the takeaway here, guys?
Yeah, I watched the game, and I thought the first half Atletico could have ran away with it in the first half. I mean, they missed chance after chance. In the second half, they went up 2-0 early on, conceded the 2-1 shortly after, but I just felt Atleti never left second gear. And it felt like every time they did up the tempo and up the press, Seattle just looked completely out of it. And I saw the commentators were like, Seattle was always in it. And it was just like, they weren't. Like the first half, they got run over and they were lucky to come out of it losing 1-0.
They were.
Then the second half, Atleti, you got to think about it, which is one factor that I thought a lot of the North American and South American teams would have an advantage is most of them are in mid-season form. Right? Mm-hmm. They're used to this climate, right? They're used to this humidity in most cases. And here you've got European teams that are coming over that are at the end of the season, 50, 60 games on their legs, humidity. They're not used to playing in this climate, right? So that should in itself be an advantage for the North and South American teams. And I feel like we're not seeing that, right? Like this Atleti game was a proof of that, right? Like second half, you would have thought Atleti's legs would have gassed out. Seattle could have gone after them. But sure, Seattle was in the game, but every time Atleti actually turned up the heat, they looked, like a semi-pro team. So not surprised by the result. I'm more surprised at the fact that it wasn't by, 4 or 5 difference.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I have to agree with you. And to be fair, they were playing in Seattle where the relative humidity, I believe, at the game was under 30%. So it was very close to a European style, European May, so to speak.
Yep.
It wasn't even that warm, which sometimes in Seattle in this time of the year, it can actually get quite, air temperature can get up to 31, 32 degrees Celsius for those who are monitoring that. It wasn't even close to that. They were more along the lines of a mid to high 20s, which is, I think, actually quite reasonable for a Portuguese or even a Madrid level team.
Spanish team. Yeah.
I think, well, it's Madrid. They play at altitude, slightly higher altitude. It is drier. It does get disturbingly hot, but it's, but you're correct. I mean, I thought Seattle looked okay. They didn't embarrass themselves, which except in the first 15 minutes, that was abysmal. Yeah. They were awful, so bad.
Yeah.
And Madrid should have been up 3 goals in the first 15 minutes. They had 8 shots to Seattle 0. I don't think Seattle crossed the halfway line once. It was bad, and if it wasn't for the inability of the Atleti players to Alvarez missed.
Alvarez misses a sitter.
I mean, a real sitter.
Yeah.
Just like, oi, bad. And then, Barrios, actually, that was a lovely finish. That was nice. World-class finish, stunning. And then there was that weird penalty that turned out to be not a foul incident. I was shocked.
Yeah, that was confusing as heck.
Okay. Thank you. I wasn't the only one. And
I thought he at least gave a free kick outside the box, but it turned out he gave the ball back to Seattle.
Right?
How the hell does that work?
Okay. Now, Michael, I've been a referee for 15 years, and I still try to figure that out myself.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not the only one that was confused.
No, you're not the only one. In my mind, what I saw was contact initiated outside the box that followed through into the box where then the player fell down. And then he said, upon review, my decision is no foul. And I went, how? Because true, he was at shoulder-to-shoulder position, but I do think that the contact was initiated without any real attempt at the ball. He never got the ball. So, yeah, I was dumbfounded. I was truly dumbfounded, but I suppose in the end it didn't make a difference. So, okay, we'll move on. But if that had been a turning point moment in the game, I still think there would be a serious inquest here.
Agreed.
Right. And, on the whole, because I will say this about Anthony Taylor. Anthony Taylor had a moment in that game, in that first game with Palmeiras, where he gave a straight red card to a player based on his interpretation of what happened on the field in real time. The VAR said, you know what? Go back and have a look. He went back and said, oh, it didn't actually strike the shin like I thought it did. It struck the top of the foot, and the player was lying on the ground, and he had the decency to come back and reverse his call.
Yeah.
Now that's this is a global audience, and you're coming back and saying, I got it wrong, kids. Mea culpa. I'm stepping out, and and well done, I will say. Well done to him. And this was occasion where I'm like, well, what the fuck? Because I just don't know what happened. It was so bizarre. So weird.
Yeah. The referee has been of a very, very high caliber in this tournament for sure. I really like how the referees are on top of the descent, and any sort of anyone stepping out of line, they get hit. And again, as we know, tournament soccer, tournament football, you don't want to be picking up stupid yellow cards for dissent and sort of kicking balls away and silly things like that as well. Michael, we've been asking everyone this. What is your thought on the ref cam? Are you a fan of this? You think it'll be sort of initiated across sort of some of the other bigger leagues?
I didn't at first understand what it was, and then I kept looking at the refs, and they had this thing off their head, and I was like, that must be a camera. Just recently I've noticed that they've been sharing on the broadcast some of the replays. I know that I saw 1 or 2 today. I mean, it's cool, I guess. I feel like it's more interesting for the general audience. For me, I mean, I'm an avid fan of the game, and what I care more about is the game, right? I don't care about if the ref is wearing a GoPro like they do in the MLS All-Star games, or they've got the ref wearing a headset with a camera. For me, it's indifferent. I just want to watch the game. I want it to be good quality broadcast. I don't care where the hell the camera is. Just give me good football. That's all I care about.
Yeah. It's definitely, the technology does keep on creeping in, doesn't it, as well? I do like it because it just takes you a little bit more inside the game and the perspective, and you can see what the referee's looking at as well. And what it really does also for me brings into perspective just the speed at which happens, and then the decisions that they have to make on those as well. So it does, again, I think, to your point, Cooligan, as well, the referee had this sort of the ability and the space to hold his hands up, mea culpa, and say, I made a mistake because of the VAR, and it's okay. And everyone understood that as well, right? Rather than sort of absolutely.
And Gary, and I think if they use the technology in that aspect, right? If they use the technology to be able to say, okay, we've got the ref cam, referees get battered, dragged through the mud a lot of the times, right? And if they use that technology in a way to say, okay, people are criticizing. Let's see what the ref saw. Let's see his or her point of view. What's their perspective, right? So then we can at least look at it and be like, actually, they were blocked by that player or that player, right? So now I understand why they missed it. Now let's point the finger at the VAR, right? So I think for the fan to see that view just in general, for me, it doesn't add any value. But if we use it in that aspect, I think it could be extremely beneficial.
Yeah. I think,
and I've heard commentators speak about the fact that for the first time, most people are appreciating from a referee's perspective just how challenging it can be, because you are moving in with the game. To say that they're some sort of impartial avatar that's projected upon it. No, they're a human being that is running at the same pace that these players are, and watching everything around them and making these split-second decisions. It is very difficult. It is very challenging. And this is the first time where I've seen it, and they don't slow it down. They do it in real time. And I'm like, damn, that is super fast. And I've done fast-paced games, and there are times where I go, oh yeah, like I'm done. I'm like, I can't keep up with this. And so kudos to those, kudos to the men and women in the center and on the side. But yeah.
So I think if anything,
it makes people feel any ounce of sympathy towards a referee, then I'm all for it, because
I think that's probably the sort of, that's what it's done most of all, as well as everyone sort of it's been able to put you inside the sort of the head or the sort of the vision of the referee, as you say, and be like, oh wow, that's really fast and really quick. Because I mean, just as you say, as you said, Michael, and obviously Cooligan, as obviously being a sort of a referee for the level that you do as well, it's a thankless task most of the time. So no one ever comes up and says, thanks referee for making that call, for giving me a penalty, give me offside or anything like that.
Nobody's ever said that to me once. Nobody's ever said that to me.
So it's definitely, the technology is definitely been an empathy driver for sure for referees. So yeah, we'll definitely have to. It'll be interesting to get some other referees on here for sure. Okay, so that just obviously looking at Group B. Just as we're bumping up on time, obviously it looks like Sounders. And the other point I do just want to make.
Let's play a hypothetical. What happens if the scoreline stays with Botafogo? It
looks like it's going to stay there. So we've got 15 minutes to go. Well, I mean, Botafogo are sitting pretty with 6 points at the top of Group B, and PSG and Atletico are fighting it out. And then you've got PSG against Sounders, and then Atletico against Botafogo. It will come down to goal difference. Between those three teams.
Well, PSG beat Atleti, so the first tiebreaker is head-to-head. So PSG just has to beat the Sounders, and Atleti's gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're still in the driver's seat.
Okay, because they beat. Okay, it's a tiebreaker, so it's got nothing.
I looked it up earlier. So
that's research. Gary, take a note from what Michael just did right there. He researched, and he has the answer to the question before you even asked it. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow,
and I only looked it up because I was wondering if Porto was already out. So first tiebreaker is head-to-head.
Okay.
And second tiebreaker.
No matter what the reasoning, no matter what the impetus was, he still did the research.
Yeah.
So
second one's goal difference.
Interesting. Wait, so hang on. So you're saying even if, let's say, for example, if Atletico, for example, had a higher goal difference than PSG, unlikely, but just hypothetically, you're saying that because PSG, even though they have the same points and they beat Atletico, they would go through even with less goal difference. Is that correct?
Correct, because the head-to-head's the first tiebreaker.
Head-to-head's the first tiebreaker.
That's a new one that's coming. That's never happened before, right? That's a new one in the world.
What gets tricky is if Atleti beats Botafogo and PSG beats Sounders, now they're all on 6 points.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And if PSG lost to Botafogo, PSG beat Atleti, right?
Oh,
right. They've all beat each other. So now you get into a triangle, and you're like, holy shit, who gets the head-to-head? And that falls into another bracket. Yeah.
But if they're all on the same goal differences and they've all beaten each other and they all finish on 6 points, then what happens then?
We flip a coin.
Or it could be yellow cards.
It could be, that's a good count. That's
because of the World Cup. In the World Cup, yellow cards actually are used as a tiebreaker.
Yeah, interesting. Wow.
So the tiebreakers
that's fascinating.
Group points. Then it goes to group goal difference, group goals scored. Oh, head-to-head record's fourth, actually. My apologies.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, okay. Hold on a second. Hold on a second.
So it's goal difference first. If they're all tied on goal difference, then it goes on the head-to-heads. But if they've all beaten each other once, and obviously it's a little bit sort of funky, then it's on yellow.
Fair play record.
Yellow cards and red cards, right? That's it.
And drawing of lots.
Oh, wow. They start pulling hats.
Atleti are already screwed on the fair play because they got a red.
Yes, they are.
So they're done.
They're done, yeah. So you think then, so it would look like that PSG and Botafogo should go through this group as well, right?
I think Botafogo and PSG get through.
Yeah, I'm with you. So I think it stays the same as it stands right now, right?
Yeah.
So if that is the case, then you have 2 European teams having gone out and being knocked out by 2 South American teams or a US team, right, in the form of Porto and Atletico Madrid, which would be against the sort of traditional, conventional sort of wisdom and narrative, right, which was interesting. I do just want to go back to
I think that actually, if Atletico Madrid does not get through, there's going to be some questions about Simeone.
He's grandfathered in as well. He's 2 grandfathered in.
Really?
Yeah, 2 grandfathered in.
Wow, I can't believe that you guys are respecting the age. Would you please show that same love back at me when you go to renew my contract later this year, Gary?
He's put them on a level that they never probably imagined they would be on.
Well, and he's that's fair. That's fair.
And on top of that, highest paid coach in the world as well. And if they did fire him, they'd have to fire the whole Simeone family, including the player, the backroom staff.
I forgot about that.
His grandkids as well. They're all on the payroll as well.
Grandkids.
So can you imagine the sort of payoff that they'd have to? Atletico don't have that kind of money. They'd have to sell someone to get rid of him.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. Okay.
All right. He's their Arsene Wenger.
But there is no Simeone out hashtags all over the internet. That's for sure.
True.
Well, right?
Yeah. No.
Yes. Yet is the operative word. Okay, so gentlemen, so as we go into tomorrow's match day, we've got some exciting games as well. So if we could just do a quick sort of fire round as we're bumping up on time and discuss what we think in terms of predictions. So, Michael, I think Benfica, Auckland. I mean, well, obviously you guys. This is is this going to be another smashing?
How many?
Do we think it's going to be as many as 10 or what do you think?
No, I don't think we'll put 10 past them. I think it's a game that Benfica should win in comparison to the team that they're up against, with all respect to Auckland City. But it's a game that Benfica should win. Benfica's coach mentioned that today in his pre-match presser a couple hours ago. So I expect a victory. I expect a victory by at least 3 goals, I think, is realistic given the quality of the 2 teams, at least. But I don't think we'll see a 10 like we saw with Bayern.
Yeah.
Do you think that Auckland will score?
I don't think they will. I think the quality,
fair.
Like unless he rotates a lot, but I don't expect him to rotate because this is the game that they really need to stamp their mark in the group. So I expect Benfica to come out strong and guns blazing. So I don't think Auckland will score. But then again, we make some amateur mistakes at the back sometimes, like we did against the 2 goals for Boca. So who knows?
Yeah, well, that you did look a little bit light, and I was surprised that Boca was so easily able to get in through the back door there as well and score, right? I think last time Cooligan and I made these predictions on the Bayern Auckland game as well, I said 7-0 and Cooligan said 4-1.
I said 4-1. So, I actually thought Auckland was going to be able to shock them in the second half.
They got shocked instead.
I was woefully optimistic. Let's just.
I didn't watch the game, but I was getting alerts, and I was like, "There has to be a mess. There's got to be a bug on this app." It's 10-0.
No.
Yeah. So, Cooligan, go on. I'll give you a chance to redeem yourself.
I'm not even. I listen. I think Benfica wins. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
And again, I would love for Auckland to score a goal. I don't think it will happen in this match. So there you have it.
Yeah. Okay. So you're not going to go for a score. Yeah. I think it's going to be.
I don't even 4 or 5. I mean,
5.
It's hard to say.
I think 4-5 as well. 4-5. I do hope that they do score a goal just for sort of just for something as well. If not in this game, in the next game against Boca. But
leave it for Boca.
Yeah, well, and then obviously the other games. Okay, so that's the Benfica Auckland game in Group C, and then in Group D we have Flamengo against Chelsea. I'm actually going to finally get to watch this game because I will not be traveling because I'm at the later game. Flamengo, Michael, as the any perspective on this one? Any thoughts on Flamengo against Chelsea?
Flamengo's got a good team. Chelsea, from a player's perspective, has a good team. I still think they're lacking being able to play as a team. I think they have a lot of talent. They just don't play as a collective. I think Flamengo's going to give them a hard time. It's a different type of ball. It's very physical, as we saw between Benfica and Boca Juniors. It's just a completely different type of soccer game. I could see this coming into a draw, like a 1-1 draw. I see it being a tight match. There's going to be a lot of Brazilian fans in Philadelphia, which will play a big part. So I think this is going to be a tightly contested match. I could see a draw here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think this one is a challenge. I think this one's a challenge for Chelsea, and unless they pull some magic out of the hat, they could be on that point dropping side.
Well, and here's another factoid for you: no Brazilian team has lost a game yet in this tournament, and there's 4 of them. Right? No Brazilian team has yet to lose a game. Yeah, and Botafogo now with what 8 minutes ago against PSG, still winning.
Condemn your own club there, Gary.
I agree with Michael's perspective. Is they've got a lot of talent, and they've got a lot of talent, and they just need to learn to play as a team. I think they need to start Liam Delap and put Jackson on the bench as well, and just again, as you say, come out guns blazing and bang a couple of goals in as well. Because Jackson, he's not the guy. He's a great strong player, fast. He's like Mudryk as well, and a couple of these other players where they're more sprinters rather than soccer players and strikers. And he's just for a striker, his touch and his finishing is not very good. And he's got pace and strength, but he doesn't have the other two.
Agreed.
So yeah, I think I'm going to be a little bit biased. I think Chelsea will probably grind out a 2-1 win here as well and have the first defeat for a Brazilian team. But again, I am biased, and it's not the first time I've been accused of that. LAFC against Esperance Tunis here. Michael, what are your thoughts on here? Have you seen any of these two teams play? And what do you think?
I watched LAFC and I watched them in the MLS. Esperance de Tunisie, I don't know anything about them. I saw the first game. I think LAFC should have enough quality at home in the sense of being in the US. I think they should have enough quality to get a result here against a Tunisian team that, again, I think without even knowing much about them, I think it just, judging a book by its cover, I think just the quality level is significantly lower than the MLS. So I would have to side with an LAFC win here.
Okay. Cool.
I think I am actually seated on the Esperance side. I don't know for certain, but
so who are you rooting for?
I will be wearing a completely neutral Oakland Roots shirt with my USL club proudly in display.
So not representing California, is that it?
I will be representing California, but that's not LA. So no, I will never. I have to say that if somebody was to ask me at the game, it'd be like, no, I'm 100% Esperance. Because not because I hate LA, I do hate LA, but and I don't hate LAFC, but I'm always going to root for the
Metropolis.
Yeah. No, I'm going to root for the underdog. I'm sorry. I just think that, it's why not? There are some players that I really want to see succeed. So let's do it.
No, that's okay. Okay, that's good. And then the final game, obviously, the big one, which I am very excited to. I'm going as an avid Boca fan as well. This will be my second Boca game, my 0 Chelsea games as well, just for the record to show my bias there.
Understood.
Boca against Bayern. This is going to be an exciting game.
Oh, this is a good one. It's a good one.
My gut tells me I want to say 2-2. But you're going to see red cards from Boca. You're going to see a couple of red cards as Boca, and then it will probably go to 4-2. So I think it's going to get to 2-2. Boca are going to be in it. They're going to have the traditional mental meltdown. They're going to get a couple of players sent off, and then Bayern will just run through them as well. And I'm going to say 4-2 on this one. Michael, what are your thoughts? Obviously, because you need.
I said it at the game
to lose this one.
While I was watching the Benfica match live there. This Boca team is not very good, in my opinion. They play very compact, very tight lines, sit deep and look for a counter.
Very old.
Fortunate enough.
Old.
Yeah, and they were very fortunate against Benfica. 2 stupid mistakes that you can't concede goals like that at this level. Apart from that, Trubin didn't make any saves. So I think this game is going to be very one-sided. I think the factor here is going to be the South American aggressiveness is going to meet the German aggressiveness, right? The Portuguese league and the German league are 2 very different things when it comes to physicality. And I don't think the Bayern Munich team will back down or be as soft when it comes to the physical element of the game as Benfica was. And I think that's going to be a huge piece to the puzzle here. I honestly think Bayern comes away with this with a I would say 3-1, 4-1. Like I don't think Boca has any chance in this game. I think they're just going to play the physical part, and it's going to end up backfiring on them, like you said.
Right. Yeah. I agree. I think it's a Bayern. I think it's a Bayern win by at least 2 goals. I agree with both of you.
Do we all agree that we're going to see a red card from a Boca team here as well? They're going to lose this.
There's a high likelihood. Yes.
There's going to be a red card.
I'm going to say that the money on that one is
high. That's we had one half of the soccer shops yesterday as well. I wonder what the odds on that one, but I would take that bet as well. Chance of a red card from Boca tomorrow, very likely,
very high,
very likely. I would not take that bet. I would not take that bet unless I had a good like marker on the time,
plus 200 or plus 300 or something like that.
Exactly.
Right? But
exactly.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, gentlemen, I think that's brought us up obviously through the agenda as well. Michael, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a real pleasure having you as well.
Lovely.
Do you want to just give everyone?
Thank you for having me.
Just give everyone a quick
shout out.
Where can you shout out to where they can get your content, obviously for all those Benfica fans or passive Benfica fans.
Yeah, so o Cantinho Benfiquista. We are on all social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or X, YouTube, Twitch, Kick. So we have podcasts, Benfica podcast in Portuguese and in English with completely different people moderating, conversating about the games and the performances. So check us out. Doesn't cost you anything to leave us a like and a follow. And a pleasure to join you guys. And hopefully we can do more of this in the future.
Well, if Benfica get through to the knockout phases, we'll definitely have it back.
Benfica make it through. We'll have you back.
When Benfica makes it through.
Win, baby.
Come on.
Baby.
Yeah. Well,
yes.
There we go. All they have to do is smash 4 or 5 past Auckland, get that goal difference up, and then if Boca screw themselves with the red cards as well, they're screwed because they're going to get done on the fair play side of things as well. Cooligan, obviously you are traveling tomorrow, I believe. Is that right?
I'm not. No. I'm in Nashville tomorrow.
You're in Nashville tomorrow. Yeah,
I'm in Nashville tomorrow. I travel on Saturday.
On Saturday.
It's all good.
Well, I think, we both travel on Saturday as well. Yeah. So I'm back down, and then obviously I'll be back in Austin and then back out here a few days later as well. And then we've got obviously sort of the round of 16 knockout games and then all the exciting stuff as well. So we'll take a little hiatus for a day and a half as well, but we will be back and covering all the games that happened and then the games going through. But until then, guys, thank you so much. Wonderful. Please enjoy that. Obviously, just looking at that, 88 minutes, Botafogo still 1-0 up as well. So looking likely that, again, undefeated Brazilian teams all the way through. This has been exciting. A great tournament so far. Thank you, gentlemen. Goodbye.
Peace.